All right, everybody. Good evening. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. Welcome to Fantasy Football Live, Wednesday edition. As we do every Wednesday, going to go through the first injury report of the week. Of course, there's a lot of big names on it, as it really has been the case all season. But before I go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that notification button, and also hit the like button if you can, because that definitely helps with the indexing on YouTube. Cleared 1,000 subscribers thanks to you guys. And like I said yesterday, when researching how long it takes to be approved for the next phase of YouTube, once you reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, typically it says it takes 12 to 16 months to get your first 1,000 subscribers. Well, we were able to do that in a little less than 4 months, and that's thanks to you guys. So I appreciate everything that you've done in terms of your support. It's been a lot of fun interacting with everybody, multiple times during the stream. And of course, always post on the message board because, I have that set to notification on my phone. So I typically will answer within a couple of minutes or maybe an hour later at worst. So again, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button. So, all right. Wow. A lot of comments already. How's everybody going? Auntie Slayer's here. Carlo's here. Randy is here. Akil is here. Keenan is here. All right, Bo Edwards. Yes, thank you, Bo. Yes, over 1,000. So again, thank you to you guys as well. I appreciate all the support. So Jumbo's got the first question. Would you trade Jonathan Taylor for Leonard Fournette and Mike Evans? They're on a bye. I don't like Leonard Fournette the rest of the season. Todd Bowles has the Rachaad White itch, and he's going to be using Rachaad White, I think, quite heavily. It might be like a 60-40 split in White's favor. And not to mention the fact that Fournette is injured. So, even though Adam Schefter said he will be back for week 13, take it with a grain of salt. Week 12, this is week 11 coming up. So take it with a grain of salt. I wouldn't take that as gospel. What topics you got for us today? All right. So Randy, I'm going to go through the injury report, like always, the news of the day. And certainly Dallas Goedert, that's a big one. I didn't see that coming, being placed on IR. So that goes to show you that the shoulder injury was a lot worse than originally anticipated. So, the initial, feeling was that he was just going to miss a couple of games. But now, 4 weeks, that's quite the hit if anybody owns Dallas Goedert. And the injuries have been really bad of late. Big name players going down left and right. I've got Evan Ingram on bye, picked up Foster Moreau because Komet. Everyone else taking my question. Is Isaiah Likely worth the stash? Limited. I don't think Isaiah Likely is going to have as much impact with Mark Andrews expected to come back this week. Should I trade Burrow for Mike Williams? He may not return this week. There's a lot of conjecture on that one. So I would definitely research that one. Maybe wait until Friday to see what Mike Williams' status is before doing that. If it's a one quarterback league, certainly the receivers and running backs are more valuable than the quarterback. Thoughts on Jalen Hurts rushing yards going down the last few games? Jonas, I don't know if that's a concerted effort. They didn't really have the football much against Washington, and Miles Sanders himself, I believe, only got 12 carries in the game. So, you know what? I wouldn't panic over that just yet. It is a long season. Possibly he's tiring. I think that might be just too simplistic of a way to look at it. I think he's going to be ultimately fine. And Pat Mahomes and Hurts are the two prime MVP candidates right now, with Tua Tagovailoa a dark horse. I'm telling you guys, he's going to get votes. Start Christian Watson versus Titans or Pittman. Listen, Michael Pittman is now a wide receiver too. I would start Michael Pittman. That whole thing with the Indianapolis Colts was just bizarre, and I have some thoughts on that. Now, guys, one thing about having more and more subscribers now is that the chat goes a lot faster, so I might miss some of your questions, and that's why when the super chat is here, as soon as I get the approval, that'll definitely help to make some questions stand out. So just, you can feel free to type it again. I won't consider that annoying or anything. If I miss your question, please type it again. Now, as far as the Colts are concerned, this whole thing just smells rotten to me. So Jim Irsay apparently was annoyed at Matt Ryan. Did not want to pay him whatever the bonus of the contract is in terms of next season, whether it's playing time incentive. I haven't really looked at the contract, but there was an issue there that he wanted to play Ellinger to avoid whatever this payment was for Matt Ryan. He fires, Frank Reich, who's a highly respected coach in the NFL, very successful coach, and installs what everybody, assumes is a puppet in Jeff Saturday. And, you heard Bill Cowher Sunday morning, or, he was very upset about this. A lot of people in the league are very upset that that Saturday was able to just jump ahead of career assistants or even former head coaches, John Fox, who's connected to the team as well, and Gus Bradley, I believe as well, to jump into the top chair. So the whole thing kind of just reeked to me that it was just a complete teardown. Let's just have somebody pioneer this as we try to get the number one pick. But then Matt Ryan gets put back under center. And what happens? They beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And Ryan actually played well. He had like a 30-yard run in the second half. He had a quarterback sneak for a touchdown. He threw the ball well. Michael Pittman is rediscovering some lost fantasy value. And Saturday said Ryan is the starter going forward. So, they have an outside shot to make the playoffs with this expanded playoff format. Jonathan Taylor looks rejuvenated. But the whole thing is just weird to me. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I think the whole thing just smells rotten. But it is a boost to Taylor and Pittman. Missed out on Watson. Thoughts on Paris Campbell? Paris Campbell just, he burned me back in I think it was week 2 or week 3 where Michael Pittman missed the game. And at the time I was a Pittman owner and I picked up Campbell and he literally did absolutely nothing, not even a single catch. And he gave me a 0. So I know he's been hot lately. And certainly with Matt Ryan under center, I think that will help him. But I'm not going to go crazy about Paris Campbell yet. I need to see a little bit more. Should I trade CMC for D-Hop? No, you don't trade Christian McCaffrey. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about today. Randy, I know you asked me about what we were going to talk about. The whole thing with Eli Mitchell and McCaffrey on Sunday night was weird to me. Obviously Eli Mitchell got the majority of the carries. And he ran well. McCaffrey was did the receiving work and also had a rushing touchdown. But what this shows me is that the 49ers, using Mitchell as much as they did, are trying to preserve Ryan for the postseason. All right. And it's not the wrong thing to do. It's actually smart because as I've said many times on this show, I think the San Francisco 49ers, and I think right now they're the fourth choice, the fourth best odds to win it all. They are a prime Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. I think they match up well with a lot of teams in the NFC. I think they could absolutely beat the Minnesota Vikings. The Philadelphia Eagles are always, they're a dynamic offense with a running quarterback. I'm not sure about that one, but this is a really good team that's stacked offensively. They're stacked on the defensive line. They had a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo who was one completed throw away from upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs in that Super Bowl. He missed the throw and certainly he had to live that down. And that means that there are still legitimate question marks of whether Garoppolo can actually put a team over the finish line. But if this move with Mitchell is to preserve McCaffrey, I think it's brilliant. Now, if you're a McCaffrey owner, I think you've got to just slightly lessen the expected fantasy point output going forward. But you know what? If it keeps him healthy, so what? You'll get a full season out of him, which we haven't seen in God knows how long, and just slightly diminished numbers. Now, Eli Mitchell, who I didn't think really had any value once he came back, is now a flex play. So this is a run-heavy offense. I think that, Randy, I think they're saving him as well. I think that Mitchell has some value now as a flex, for sure. Traded Lazard and Foreman for Waddle. Also traded Geno Smith and Schultz for Lamar. I like both deals. I've been trying to – I know I've been the biggest Allen Lazard fan, but the Christian Watson thing concerns me a little bit in terms of maybe Lazard is now taking a back seat. So you got Jalen Waddle, who's been fantastic this season. And it's funny you said that, Jeff, because I made an offer today for Jalen Waddle in a package including Allen Lazard that didn't get it done. And I have a situation too with Lamar Jackson in that I have him and Justin Fields in both of my leagues. And, I might go Fields in both, or I might split it. One league, go Fields, Jackson in the other, just to have some diversity in my lineups. But, the fact that I'm even considering starting Justin Fields over Lamar Jackson, I would have told you that back in week 1, you would have been like, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Let's go find another channel. So, but Fields has been that good with 40 plus fantasy points the last 2 weeks. So yeah, that's interesting to me. Do I sell high on Fields now? What if Jackson gets hurt? Then I'm really screwing myself. So that's kind of the dilemma. And most leagues, the trade deadline, I think, is after this week. So make sure you get those deals in. Barkley for Chubb, DK, and Hurts. I lost Goddard, so I need a tight end. Oh, so you're trading Barkley, DK, and Hurst? No, I wouldn't do that. Barkley's been so good. I wouldn't do that. He's a whole Giants offense for sure. Yeah, Zeke will be back maybe this week. So if you're a Tony Pollard owner, that may not be so great. Traded CPAT and Warren and receiving Kamara, good or bad? Yeah, I'm fine with that deal. I mean, I know Jameis Winston doesn't throw much to Kamara, but CPAT, I'm not really. He didn't. I'm not liking that setup in Atlanta now with all those running backs. Plus, you have a running quarterback. Traded Deonta Foreman for Amari Cooper. That's a good move, Akil. That's a very good move because, as a matter of fact, I think everybody should be trading for Amari Cooper. I know about the road struggles. I posted that today, but he's getting Deshaun Watson at quarterback very soon, and I think that's going to be really big for his fantasy football value the rest of the way. Saquon and Hurts for Fields, Chubb, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Fair deal. I like Saquon better than Chubb. I like Hurts better than Fields because, I mean, let's face it, expecting 40-plus points a week is a lot, but you are getting Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's a fair deal, Duffy. I think, either way, whether you keep those guys or you trade, I think it's kind of a wash. Does Hopkins lose significant value with Hollywood Brown coming back? Also, is Watson a good stash? Watson is a good stash for the quarterback position because he runs heavily and he also can throw. Obviously, we know he can throw the football. Duvernay, I don't think Hopkins is losing much, if any, fantasy value. The loss of Zach Ertz is a big one, all right, because that's 5 to 7 targets a game that Ertz is now leaving behind. Now, you could talk about the rookie there, McBride, who certainly I was very high myself on in my annual draft guide as a receiver, caught 90-plus passes his last collegiate season, but expecting a rookie tight end to contribute is really asking a lot. It's a very difficult position to master for a rookie. And fantasy-wise, we haven't seen a lot of rookie tight ends contribute much. So I think there is room for both, for all three of Hopkins, Marquise Brown, and Rondale Moore. And speaking of Marquise Brown, I'm trying to buy low on him everywhere. One league I do have Hopkins, so I'm not as aggressive in that league. But with the other league, I've been making offers for him. Not successful so far, but I'm really trying to get him before he comes back. I have CMC, ETN, Swift, KW3, and Stevenson with St. Brown and Mike Evans. Should I trade because I have a lot of running backs, and who should I trade? You have St. Brown and Evans who are fine. I know Evans is a little bit beat up. Swift is kind of really on your bench right now because you have CCM, ETN. You could use Stevenson and flex. Good Dreams, that's a really good team. I wouldn't mess with that team. I like the way that team is constructed. I feel like Lamar has been kind of in a slump for fantasy in recent weeks, but I'm optimistic. Yeah, Jeff, he has been. And like I said, I'm a Lamar Jackson owner, so it's a good problem to have for me personally now with Justin Fields as an alternative, and he's playing the Atlanta Falcons this week, so I'm really leaning to going for Justin Fields. I think you should do Wednesday streams for discussion, then sit stream later in the week. Chat's crazy. Yeah, the chat is crazy. And like I said, I'm going to have that super chat up soon. I feel bad if I miss questions, so the super chat will be able to have that stand out. And I'll be able to see the questions as it's going by. And yes, it's just going to get faster. Unfortunately, that's the only negative. Which really, it's not a negative because it shows you that I'm getting good support, and of course, I really appreciate that. But if again, just keep retyping the question if I miss it. And as far as doing the streams, yeah, the start, I could break it up like that, Randy, but I like to keep it loose, and whatever anybody wants to ask, I'm fine with answering. Really, should I trade Foreman for Leonard Fournette and Christian Watson? No, why would you do that? I mean, I think Fournette's still going to have value. And listen, this could be a one-game anomaly for Watson. Alan Lazard could very well lead the team in receiving this week as well. Watson still is very raw, and 4 catches, he made the most out of it. So let's pump the brakes just a little bit on that one. Ertz is a huge loss. He is a very big loss for sure. Absolute big loss. Trading Burrow and have Deshaun Watson staff. Yeah, I mean, if you have Deshaun Watson, I think it might take a game or two for him to find his equilibrium. But I think he's going to be just fine. Once he knocks off the rust. Trading Burrow for Mike Williams, have Deshaun. Yeah, I mean that's fine. Yeah, if you do that. Keenan Fournette on the way out. Yeah, I don't know if he's on the way out, Auntie, but because that's a delicate situation. They just re-signed him prior to the season, and Tom Brady is a big Leonard Fournette fan, and Tom Brady runs things, so I don't think they're going to completely push him out, but 60-40 split maybe is possible. All right, let's take a look at some of the injury news here. Michael Gallup practiced with the knee issue. He was banged up a little bit last game, but I don't think it's a big deal. and that was the other thing I wanted to talk about. I missed that the other day. Odell Beckham Jr. So Odell Beckham, apparently, according to multiple reports, is it's between the Giants and between the Cowboys. Now, if me personally, as a Giants fan, I'd love to see him return, even though that things didn't end well the first time around. I blame a lot of that on Dave Gettleman, who's no longer the GM. But here's the thing, too. If Odell Beckham comes back to New York, he's going to be received like a hero's, he's going to get the hero's welcome. He's going to be so popular. Fans are going to go absolutely ballistic. So, Odell, he's a cocky guy. He's arrogant. He likes the adulation. I think he would suck all that up. Whereas if he goes to Dallas, he's taking a back seat to CeeDee Lamb. Dalton Schultz is a big-time pass catcher at tight end. Michael Gallup is still there. So I think there'll be a lot more competition for targets. But, the Giants, to me, and he wants to pick a team that's in the playoffs, so you can forget about the Rams. That's just not happening. But the Cowboys and the Giants, I think the Giants make more sense to him. He has a better chance to win a Super Bowl with Dallas, but he just won a Super Bowl last season. So maybe that makes it a little bit easier for Odell to go back to the Giants just to right whatever went wrong the last time he was there. And I think with the Giants, he absolutely could be a low-end wide receiver too, where Dallas, he's going to be a strict wide receiver 3. Is dropping Cousins a bad move? 10-team league about to get Lamar and pick. No, you could drop Cousins. He's just not dynamic. He doesn't run. So I don't think you're losing much there, Jeff. Should I trade away Andrews and Amari for Hockenson and Chase? You got to be careful with Chase because we don't, he's not going to play this week. He may not play next week. I would much prefer to hold on to Amari and Andrews in that situation. Should we sit all Rams pass catchers? Yes, Randy, sit all Rams pass. If Matthew Stafford plays, you can go Allen Robinson. I picked up Skoranek just as a hedge to see if maybe he becomes the guy, but I'm not playing any of those guys for sure. I picked up Daniel Jones in the wire because I have no idea what's going on with Kyler. Watson's available in the wire. So, yeah, I would pick up Watson. Watson shouldn't be on the waiver wire in any leagues at this point. Currently 9-1. You've been to help. Oh, thank you, Duvernay. I appreciate it. So, yeah, so for my leagues, I'm in first place in one league at 8-2. The other league, the one that I've been telling you about, they've been very frustrated with. I'm 6-4. I've rolled off a couple of wins in a row in that league, so I'm sitting okay in that position, but I'm actually 6th out of 12 with that 6-4 record because I had some lean scoring weeks, so I'm losing the scoring tiebreak for now. So I'm right on the bubble. Top 6 make the playoffs. In the other league that I'm 8-2, it's a 10-team league, and I'm in first place by a game, and I'm aiming for that first week bye. Should I trade Andrews? A lot of trade Andrews. I don't understand that. I wouldn't even conceive of trading Andrews. I know he's banged up. And ETN for Taylor, Kittle, and Lockett. I mean, that's a fair offer, Ryan. Should I trade Andrews and ETN? Taylor, Kittle. There's a lot of competition for Kittle, though, in terms of targets. Ryan, I think I would stick with what you have. 12-team full PPR, Lamar, ETN, Diggs, Bay, Monty, Ingram. Moving anything only once big spot is tight end. Monty all of a sudden has more value too. Not sure AB my strategy for the playoffs. Duvernay, your team looks good. I really wouldn't do anything. You have Hopkins on flex. Your bench looks good with Foreman and Monty. Monty has more value. Ingram has been good. You could rotate him at Morrow. I don't think you really need to do anything. Should I start Tony, Myers, Moore, or Jay Palmer to replace Evans on the bye? I would look at Tony because I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to play this week. Andrews is healthy. Yeah, Andrews should play this week for sure. Dulcich or Freiermuth, rest of season, Freiermuth. Jerry Jeudy is day-to-day. I think he's going to be playing. So, all right. So Justin Jefferson was limited today with a toe injury. He's going to be just fine. That catch he made was just beyond insane last week, and he's going to win the SB for that for sure. So Justin Jefferson will be just fine. And really, we went back and forth myself personally about Cooper Kupp, Justin Jefferson, who the first wide receiver off the board should be. Well, initially the first 10 weeks, it was the wrong decision. Kupp was the guy outscoring Jefferson. But now, let the season unfold. Jefferson will now prove to be the better investment because Kupp got injured. All right. So Antonio Gibson had a knee injury or a knee issue. He practiced in full today. And I really like the way they're using Gibson now. He definitely is a flex every week because they've kind of pushed J.D. McKissic to the bench. And I still don't understand why they matched that offer from Buffalo. They should just let him go to Buffalo. There was no reason to bring McKissic back. And I really like the way they're using Antonio Gibson now. It's playing to his strengths as a receiver. My team after trades, 10-man, Lamar Watson, Eckler, Saquon. Wow, Eckler and Saquon. Jesus. Patterson, Waddle, Amon-Ra, Hollywood, Judy. I mean, listen, you got Kelsey, Jeff. If you don't win the league with that team, I don't know what to tell you, man. You got some bad luck then if you don't win with that team. Jeff, biggest mistake was taking JT first round, spamming wires. Yeah, Randy, I've spoken about this many times, and I didn't even take my own advice in that league. I had the top pick. I got seduced by the numbers by Jonathan Taylor. Listen, I still think there's time for him to win you the league, though. Like I pointed out yesterday with Saquon Barkley a few years ago when he came back from that high ankle sprain, he was incredible in December, and he won me and a lot of people leagues. I think JT could be that guy. So Matthew Stafford practiced on Wednesday with a concussion. You are allowed to practice if you're in protocol. I think he's going to get cleared. I think he's going to play. So, the backfield is a mess. I think that, if Stafford does play, then I think Robinson could gain a little bit more value. I keep an eye on Skowronek because Skowronek to me has that kind of Cooper Kupp similar role. He's a good route runner. He's got good hands. They're kind of more similar than Allen Robinson, who wins through contested balls, as opposed to Skowronek with Kupp. So I think Skowronek is somebody who should be picked up as a hedge just to see what happens. Who knows? Maybe he comes out and catches 8 passes, and in PPR leagues he's got some value. So keep an eye on that one. Someone dropped Bills D, which is ridiculous. Got the Pats right now. Is it crazy to put 17 fab? Yeah, don't spend a lot of money on defense because defense is so hit or miss. I mean, I have Dallas defense in that one league that we play defense, and they've been, up and down like an elevator. So Taylor Heinicke will get the start week 11. So Carson Wentz is making his way back. But listen, you cannot, even if Carson Wentz was healthy, you could not bench Taylor Heinicke, who's playing well. And listen, he's making himself some money because I think Taylor Heinicke has the ability, on a rebuilding team to play well, and he has played well. So, and it's really helped Terry McLaurin. Anybody who owns Terry McLaurin was definitely happy about Taylor Heinicke becoming the quarterback. Ezekiel Elliott practiced on Wednesday with the knee. So, Jerry Jones really just wants to see Zeke back, which is, ridiculous. Tony Pollard's gone over 100 yards the last 2 games. Anybody who's seen Dallas play the last couple of weeks, the way Tony Pollard can cut on a dime, he reminds me a little bit of the Le'Veon Bell. Remember how Le'Veon Bell would wait a split second and then make that crazy cutback and get up the field in a jiffy? That's what Tony Pollard reminds me of a little bit. I think that Zeke, he's an older back. So the knee injury that he has, it's proven to be a little bit more difficult for him to return from. I would say right now he's probably 70-30 to play. But, there was optimism he was going to play last week and he didn't. So I think it's something that we need to watch. A.J. Brown, ankle was limited. Boy, what a disaster that was on Monday night. 1 catch for 7 yards. Listen, if the A.J. Brown owner is nervous in your league, try to buy low. I always do that. One of the keys for me to win in fantasy football is always playing the buy low, sell high game. And here's the other crucial one. I make a lot of trades. And the people I play with in leagues are always like, how do you make all these trades? Like, we can't get any trades done. I'll tell you why. When an injury hits, like, for instance, with Dallas Goedert, I want to be the first person to go to that team who just lost Goddard and make an offer to fill that hole. So, for example, the one league that I'm 8-2 in, I have Kelsey and I have Dalton Schultz. Somebody had dropped Schultz after he was put those, bagels the 3-4 weeks in a row where he did nothing. And I picked him up. I figured, you know what? He could be good insurance, maybe a trade bait later. Well, this guy who just lost Goddard, I made him an offer, Allen Lazard and Dalton Schultz for A.J. Brown. Now, he didn't accept it, but, I was trying to be that first guy to try to remedy his problem. And that's where most of my trades actually come from. I try to see, and I also look at other teams that are getting killed with the buy. Anybody who owns Mike Evans this week, try to offer him a wide receiver, get something that'll help you. Even little trades down the road that can pay off later on. So that's my strategy when it comes to trades. Like the Cooper Kupp owner, offer them a spare wide receiver if you have. They're desperate to fill that hole. They're all stressed out. They want to try to save their season. They're willing to make a move. That's when you have to strike. You got to play mind games for sure. You got to schmooze. I like doing the 2-for-1 thing. It makes it seem like you're giving more. It's a game. It really is. And here's the other thing. How there's a message board or a box where you can write a message in the trade when you send it over? Don't ever write anything. Don't try to convince the person. If you try to sell them in that little box saying, here, this guy will help you because so-and-so, they're going to reject it 9 out of 10 times because then they know you're doing the used car salesman bit on them and they're going to tell you to go fly a kite. So don't ever write anything in the box. Let them decide on their own. And that's how it works. I don't think I've ever made a trade where I tried to convince somebody in the message board there on the trade page. It just doesn't work. Thoughts on CEH and Eno? Both are drops. Both are clear drops. I mean, CEH was a drop weeks ago. I told you to sell high on him weeks ago. He's just not a good football player. Romeo Doubs is not playing tomorrow. So more Christian Watson. I'm interested to see if Alan Lazard comes back a little bit with some more catches this week. It was a disappointing effort. He did have that one catch in overtime that really helped prop up his outing. Drop, you got to drop him for sure. I definitely would drop him. Dameon Pierce, he's proven to be very durable. I guess if you own Pierce, you want to hold on to him. If it's a deeper league, then I guess it's okay. Let's see. What are some of the, all right. So Mark Andrews did practice on Wednesday. He's going to be fine. I think he's going to come back and play. So, I did miss this. So Dennis Allen said that Andy Dalton will start. So I totally missed this. So forget what I said earlier in the day about Jameis Winston. So if you're an Alvin Kamara owner, you're going to live to see another hopefully profitable fantasy football week. And it's really crucial that Andy Dalton plays well against the Rams so he can keep the job. I already had Pierce and, I dropped, yeah, you know what? I mean, Pierce looks like he's going to be fine, but, with running back, you never really know. Drop Henderson or Kyren Williams for Madison as a stand. I would drop Henderson. I still believe in Kyren Williams. I really do. I just, he's a terrific receiver. If Sean McVay can just get his head out of his ass and give him a shot, I think he'll surprise you how solid he can be. When do you think Keenan Allen will be back? Boy, Nick, that's the $1 million question. Brandon Staley said that Mike Williams did participate in individual drills. He said he was hopeful that Keenan Allen would be back this week, but boy, this is the longest hamstring injury I've ever seen. I mean, I know he's 30 years old now, and that's a trouble age for a wide receiver, but I mean, this is getting beyond ridiculous. So, I hopefully next week. I mean, they're through the bye, so if not this week, let's say next week. But he's had so many setbacks. I don't even know what to think anymore with this guy. I mean, it really is ridiculous. What do you do with Debo? Only thing I could do is bench him at this point. CMC's key. Yeah, listen, guys, I said this from the beginning, and I was never a Debo fan. His touchdown percentage per touch last year was completely unsustainable. I know it was all those touchdowns. He was running the football. These were very seductive to ignore, but the writing was on the wall. And then you have CMC coming in. He's now the fourth option. It's going to be a rough finish for Debo. Try to get whatever you can now. He might have like a blow-up game, one or two the rest of the way, but the overall picture here is bleak if you're a Debo owner, and I would definitely try to cut bait now before there's another dud this week. Najee owners offering me Kyren Williams for Warren. You see, I would hold Warren. I think Warren has a better path than Kyren Williams right now, Carlos, so I would hold Warren. And Najee is banged up, so that's why he's making you that offer. What would you I did answer that, L. Dot. So Kyler Murray is day-to-day. Cliff Kingsbury wouldn't commit. So, the hamstring injuries have been really bad for players this season. So, but listen, Colt McCoy actually played really well. He got banged up himself, but they emphasized a quick, short passing game. I was shocked how much they threw it. DeAndre Hopkins and Rondale Moore both had fantastic games, and I think it could be repeatable this week as well. The Cardinals are that bad team that's awesome in fantasy. And you get that, every couple of years. I remember RG3, it was garbage time when he was with the Redskins. It was like garbage time galore points. That's what the Arizona Cardinals are with Kyler Murray. Gus Edwards returned to practice. He's got the knee issue. He's very boring, Gus Edwards to own. If you're in a standard league, you can go with it, but I'm not going crazy starting him. KJ Hamler, hamstring. He's going to miss the next couple of weeks. He's never been able to get his career going. Jerry Jeudy's got the ankle injury. He's day-to-day. I think Jeudy has a shot to play this week. Hamler is not. Hamler shouldn't even be owned, really, even in the deepest of leagues. I talked about Marquise Brown with the foot injury. It's a Monday game, and he could be on a snap count. I don't think he's going to come back and play a full allotment of snaps because a foot is a delicate injury. So if you're a Marquise Brown owner, resist the temptation to start him if the indications are he's going to play. What do you think of me trading Olave, Swift? God, DeAndre Swift. I can't even get over how bad it's been. Juwan Johnson for Lamb and Hawkinson. Oh, definitely do that. Anti-Slayer, if somebody offered you that, just get out of the chat and just go accept it now. I'm 5-5. My team's currently being decimated by injuries in a bye week. Yeah, man, it's tough. I feel your pain. I have Michael Gallup and Keenan Allen as my starting receivers. Oh, that's brutal. Waiver wires are Wandale. I bet Wandale's been disappointing. Marshall and McKenzie. Oh God, I hate all three of them. I would have to. Oh, geez, that's rough. I would almost have to say Marshall because Wandale's been so inconsistent, which surprised me. I was really high on him. That's rough, man. I don't know. I guess I'd have to go Marshall by default. I mean, there's nothing good to say about those options. Thoughts on Chris Olave for Mike Evans? You could do that. I think Olave is a younger Mike Evans, so they're very similar players. I don't like the fact that Evans is beat up, but hopefully the bye week will rejuvenate him, and I think it will. So you can make that deal. Chase, my players on the bench are Chase, Lockett, and Jude. Oh, okay. I mean, you have good receivers on the bench, but although Chase is injured, so yeah, CFC, it's going to be tough for you, man. I hope you can get there. Just get to the playoffs, and then anything could happen. You never know. Dad would be able to get Olave for Waddle. Olave for Waddle is going to be tough. And, trading a receiver for another receiver, the person that you're making the offer to is going to instantly be suspicious. Yeah, it's very hard to do running back, or receiver. I know when I get those offers, I'm always instantly suspicious. Like, why are they trading me one wide receiver for another? They obviously think that theirs is not as good as the one they're trying to get from me. Cordell Patterson horrible last week. Would you start him or Cole Kmet? I would start Cole Kmet, but Cole Kmet himself is banged up. So we got to keep an eye on that. Patterson, I don't think he's really been horrible. He's just not getting the opportunities with, a four-man backfield now, which is ridiculous. Trade Higgins and Jamal Williams for Devontae. Yes, definitely do that, 100%. And Jamal Williams missed practice with an illness today. It's a time to – but that's another thing, by the way. I haven't heard anybody go out with COVID like this entire season. So, I mean, I know Rashad Penny very early. I think it was like week 1. Guys have COVID and they're playing in the game. Like, I mean, there's just no doubt about it, especially now with the winter, quickly approaching. I don't think I've heard one player going out with COVID. So, this guy's probably playing with COVID left and right. Is it I'm Jamal Williams? Yeah, Carly, you could trade Jamal Williams. I mean, sell high on him. He's not very dynamic, but, he is supplying consistent points. Defense, Minnesota versus Dallas or Arizona. Oh, Arizona, Michael P. Definitely. I don't want any part of going against this Dallas offense. What do you think I can get for a DK Metcalf and Gus Edwards package? DK Metcalf and Gus Edwards. You could try Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook. Although I don't really like the direction Dalvin Cook is going. You can try DeAndre Hopkins. I really like DK Metcalf, honestly. So, you probably could get, I would say Aaron Jones would be somebody I would look at. And again, I'm the biggest Aaron Jones apologist. I totally understand that. But I think you can get the Aaron Jones for that, Nick. NFL's for sure sweeping that under the rug. Yeah, for sure, Mike. They are definitely sweeping that under the rug. There are guys that are sick left and right. I mean, it's crazy. I don't. All of a sudden, it's gone. All right, so Juju Smith-Schuster did not practice with the concussion, that brutal helmet-to-helmet hit. I don't see him playing. Macaulay Hardman didn't practice as well with the abdominal issue. So, Kadarius Toney all of a sudden has a major path to a big potential game this week against the Chargers. So if you're a Kadarius Toney owner, and I know I was initially hesitant to fully endorse him, but that was because he had MVS ahead of him, Hardman ahead of him, Juju ahead of him, Kelsey ahead of him. Now 2 of those guys are out. So yeah, all of a sudden it looks like there's a really good path for impactful numbers from Kadarius Toney going forward. Jefferson has a toe issue, but I think he's going to be fine, Carlo. No big deal there. I just traded Hill for Kelsey. Fair trade. I had Ertz. You had Ertz. Okay. Oh, you got Kelsey. Okay. Still have Diggs, Boyd, and Marquise Brown. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Boyd hasn't really been anything special, but when you get Marquise Brown back, I think it'll be all right. And Hill for Kelsey definitely is a fair trade. So David Njoku did not practice with the ankle. Iffy whether he goes this week, and that's a shame because, he's been very good. And he would be somebody too that if anybody dropped him, if you're a Dallas Goedert owner, I would pick him up. So speaking of Goddard, I'm trying to see here. He will be out for the next 4 weeks, 21% of the targets through week 10, which is a lot. Tyree Jackson will fill in. Obviously, you're not picking up Tyree Jackson. Yeah, man, that's a tough one. When the tight end gets injured like that, a top 3 tight end, there's just no way to cover for it. Would you play Marquise Brown this week? No, I would not. Nope. I think there's going to be a snap count. I think he might be rusty. And listen, a foot injury, that's a big one for a receiver with all the cutting and stopping and starting. I would be very careful with this. Josh Allen was limited on Wednesday. He's been an absolute disgrace lately. He has been a turnover machine. 3 straight games under 25 fantasy points. He's playing injured, which I admire, but the turnovers have gotten ridiculous. He looks like Brett Favre right now, when Favre would go, on those runs where he would throw 2-3 interceptions a game for like a month straight. Brett Favre, for as great of a player he was, and he was a great player, one of my all-time favorites, the turnovers would come by the boatload. And that's what Josh Allen is doing right now. Whether he's a little overconfident that he can make every throw, he looks like shit right now. And, it's a little scary if you're a Josh Allen owner, especially going into the off weather that's going to be coming. This is not what you want to see. I think remember, Matthew Stafford had the same injury or has the same injury, and he's played like dog shit all year. Josh Allen now is playing the same with all these turnovers, like Stafford's been throwing interceptions all year. Is he going down that same road? That's scary for me. He should have sat out last week, 100%, Mike. It was a stupid move by Buffalo. I know it was a big game against the Vikings. Case Keenum has ability, so I don't understand that at all. Slay or Campbell in the flex. I would go Slay. They got something going with Slay right now, so I would definitely go with Slayton. Jamal Williams apparently sick. Yeah, he's sick. With what, right? Please. You think the Packers turn it around and make the playoffs? They could. If Christian Watson continues the way he's playing right now, they very well could. And listen, it is not a coincidence that when they gave 20-plus carries to Aaron Jones, the offense looked as good as it's been all week. And I've been screaming to the rafters about this all season. Enough with A.J. Dillon with the 2 yards, and then he falls to the ground. Aaron Jones needs to get 20 carries every single week. Brown or Allen, rest of season. I don't know. That's who are we talking about here? Josh Allen and AJ Brown, like 6-arm priest. What are we talking about here? Let me go through some. Yeah, so Josh Allen, it's been bad. It's been rough. I don't even know if there's going to be any improvement on that elbow. Keenan Allen, Marquise Brown. Okay. Marquise Brown by a mile. I am not trusting Keenan Allen's hamstring. I'm sorry. All right. So Jeremy Fowler did report today. Yeah. Anti-Slayer, definitely. Hollywood Brown, that Kyler Murray might miss another week or so. So this hamstring injury is a lot worse than was initially led on. So, again, if you're an owner of DeAndre Hopkins, you can't expect what they did last week to happen every week. So I'm a little bit worried if you're a Rondale Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Marquise Brown owner. We need to see Kyler Murray under center. And that brings me to the other guys. Remember that video I posted last week? I think it was last week. I said it was time to sell high on Kyler Murray. What is the one thing I made? The one point I made in that video? He always gets hurt in the second half of the season. And here we are, second half, he's hurt. The numbers also always start to go into the toilet once the second half arrives. It's a trend. Every year of his career has gone down the same way. He's a small quarterback. That's why I never, ever, ever invest in Kyler Murray. I'm a believer in his talent. He's got tremendous ability. He's very immature. Terrible body language on the sideline. I think he's a little bit of a head case with all the screaming at teammates and the coach and stuff. And you never, ever, ever scream at the coach. I mean, that's complete bullshit that was even allowed. But that's why I don't invest in him ever. Is Aaron Jones a super? Yes, Aaron Jones is always underrated. I love Aaron Jones. Absolutely love him. Dropped Allen for Brown. Yeah, if somebody dropped Marquise Brown, that's crazy. They're sitting Kyler through the bye. So it looks like they might be doing that, Kevin. That seems to be what might be taking place. Do you watch Hard Knocks? I do not watch Hard Knocks, Carlo. No, unfortunately, I don't. I just don't have the time between the channel. I got 2 young kids. I also work full time. I'm a teacher. So, and I coach football up until last week when we got knocked out of the second round of the playoffs. Wasn't a good day. Saturday was a rough day. And it was an upset. We were the top seed going in and we got upset. So it was like downright brutal. But, I'm still losing sleep over it. But anyway, so yeah, I do not watch Hard Knocks. I really don't watch a lot of TV. There's really not a lot. I'll watch like sports, obviously, but college football, NFL, but I don't really watch a lot of television, regular television. One show I do watch though is Blue Bloods on Friday night. I do love Blue Bloods. I've been watching that from the very beginning. I think that's a great show. I have Daniel Jones this week and stash D Watson, Kyler. Yeah, that works, Mike. You can definitely do that. Call of Duty comes out. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. He's a good video game player. You know what? I wish I had time to play video games. Hey guys, David Johnson signed to the Saints practice squad. You talk about one of the all-time outlier, fluke, one-year wonder. That was David Johnson. Him and Peyton Hillis. I still can't believe Peyton Hillis was on the cover of Madden. Him and Peyton Hillis are like the two most pronounced one-year wonders like ever in fantasy football. And listen, that 1 year he had with Arizona was beyond insane. Same thing with Peyton Hillis with the Browns, but never again, right? I mean, it was amazing how those guys were just extreme 1 year wonders. Pick two, please. Michael Pittman, Olave, Rondale, Tony. Oh wow, those are all good options. I'm not loving Olave with Andy Dalton. Rondale Moore with if Kyler Murray's out again, I'm gonna not go with Rondale Moore. I would say Pittman and Olave. How are you liking Nico Collins rest of the season? I'm down bad as a couple. I mean, John, Nico Collins has done a good job. He's surpassed Brandon Cooks as the top option in this passing attack, but that's not saying much. Davis Mills, he's been tough. He's been showing up every week. He's doing the best he can, but he's very limited. And it's hard to get excited for Nico Collins, even as a flex play. I got to be honest. Sorry to hear about your team getting knocked out. But yeah, it was tough, LDOT. And the school I work with, the team is a juggernaut every year, but we haven't won the state championship in over 10 years. So, we keep getting to the finals and not winning. And now to be knocked out in the second round was just downright brutal. I mean, I can't even describe how rough it was. Who you like for a streaming tight end? Evan Ingram, Freiermuth, if somebody dropped him, Hayden Hurst, the guys like that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I would pick up Njoku if somebody dropped him. I know he's been dropped in a couple of leagues that I saw. You could keep an eye on Trey McBride as well. Those Ingram and Freiermuth would be the two big ones. I don't think Freiermuth though would be available widely, so I would look for Ingram first. And Hayden Hurst has been, or Juwan Johnson too. That's another. I would look for Juwan Johnson because he's been very productive this season. Nobody's really talking about him. Who do you think I could get from Murray, QB wise? Aaron Hernandez, interesting name, by the way. I don't think you can get anything. You can get anything for Kyler Murray while he's injured. I'm sorry to say, I can't see it. Rank Pacheco, Pierce, and Sutton. So Damian Pierce is first, then Sutton, then Pacheco, Terrell. I just don't like the fact that Pacheco doesn't catch the ball, and this is a pass-first offense all the way. Just saw a trade in my league get posted. Freiermuth for Kyle Pitts. Okay. Somebody's falling in love. I actually like Freiermuth more than Pitts the rest of the season for sure. I mean, God, you talk about DeAndre Swift for the running back. Kyle Pitts is like the tight end version of DeAndre Swift. It's been that bad. Pick two, full PPR, Pickens, Cooks, Pacheco, Pickens and Pacheco. What do you think about my playoff chances? Herbert, Watson, CMC, Foreman, Dillon, Robinson. Your running backs are a little bit weak after CMC. Diggs, Boyd, Marquise Brown, Kelsey, Patriots. Yeah, receivers are good. When Brown comes back, you're going to have a very good top two. I think you need another guy besides Boyd. So you need to shore up your wide receiver 3. Your quarterback's fine, and you need to get a more consistent running back 2. Hey, boss, how you feeling about Justin Fields keeping himself on a roll? One of my cousins offered him to me, and I immediately turned him down because it seems like he wants to sell high. Yeah, listen, Javier, I've thought myself about selling high. I think Fields is going to be fine. Listen, I don't expect 40-plus Justin Fields, but 30-plus for sure. It really goes to show you how valuable a running quarterback is in fantasy football because you're getting a passer and a running back in one player. And next summer, guys, I'm fully on board with the running quarterback as a top 3 or 4 round pick. Done are the days for me of drafting a running back in round 1. I'm going receiver in round 1 for sure, 100%, no matter what draft spot I have. And I'm taking the running quarterback in round 3 or 4. I'm taking the Jalen Hurts, the Josh Allen, the Pat Mahomes, the Lamar Jackson, the Justin Fields. I'm getting one of those guys, not Kyler Murray. I'm getting one of those 6 guys in the first, 3 or 4 rounds next season. My real name, get it all the time. Oh, that, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that. That's your real name, huh? Oh my gosh. Yeah, you get a lot of jokes for that one. I mean, what a crazy ass story that was. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys caught that special on Netflix, the Aaron Hernandez documentary, but that was like fucking mind blowing. Like what that guy supposedly did, or that he murdered 2 guys. He was a closet, homosexual. He had relations with a dude in jail. He had a wife. I mean, like, like where do you even begin to decipher that whole thing? Like, I just don't understand. And crazy stuff, man. That was just nuts. I can't even remember a story being that crazy. What defense this week? Washington or New Orleans? I like New Orleans defense slightly more than Washington. We're starting Christian Watson. Yeah, I think you could give him a whirl. I would play him as a flex, wide receiver 3, borderline. Keenan or Rondale rest of season. Oh, Rondale, 100%. I do not trust Keenan Allen's hamstring. Wide receiver is more scarce now. Yeah, Mike, the thing with wide receivers too is that they're certainly much more durable. Justin Jefferson, Adams, Diggs, Chase is the exception. They've all made every start this season pretty much. So whereas running backs, disappointment and injuries decimate this spot every year. Rondo's been very good lately, for sure. Streaming QB this week. Daniel Jones is always streamable because he runs. So I would look at Daniel Jones. Andy Dalton certainly, can be okay. That was a wild Yeah, that was a wild documentary, guys. You got to see that documentary on Netflix. Make sure you check that out. I can't bench Rondale getting 13 targets. No, you can't, Carlo. I would use him every week from here on out, especially with Zach Ertz being out. All right, so Dan Graziano reports the Packers will continue to go to Christian Watson, make him a major part of the game plan going forward. So it looks like there is a concerted effort to make Christian Watson a major part of this offense going forward. So the training wheels are off. They're going to be force feeding him heavily the next couple of weeks. So after reading that, I definitely feel a lot more comfortable using Christian Watson liberally every week. All right. Very long story. Had a lot of people shocked for a long time. Yeah, that was a wild story, Javier, for sure. Would you do Foreman and Jerry Jeudy for a Cooper? Shane, 100% do that deal. How do you feel about selling Mark Andrews if you're 5-5? I would not sell Mark Andrews, Javier. He's a unicorn at tight end, him and Kelsey, especially with Goddard injured. It's such an advantage to have one of those guys. I would not trade them unless you were absolutely blown away. Need a flex, Tony, Mitchell, D Moore, not D Moore. Emore, definitely not Emore. I don't even know why you own him. No offense. I would go Tony, 100%. How worried should I be for Allen Lazard? Yeah, Eldad, I do own Lazard in both my leagues. I put feelers out to see if I can maybe get something for him. I'm unsuccessful so far. Like I said, I offered Lazard and Schultz for AJ Brown in one league, the guy that lost Dallas Goedert as his tight end. But that didn't go. And then I even offered him Devontae Smith and Schultz, and he turned that down too, which I was actually really shocked about. He's an Eagles fan. So, yeah, I'm taking A.J. Brown from him, but he's getting Devontae Smith. So, I would not trade Mark Andrews. We were talking about Lazard. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm a little worried, Eldad. I'm going to give it one more game before I go into panic mode. I'm just got to learn. I just want to make sure there's nothing going on there. Amir Abdul, not Amon-Ra St. Brown. A couple of wins. Yeah, we need to get a couple more wins to get into the playoffs for sure. Own Emore in hopes he gets more targets out of the slot. So, yeah, no, you got to drop him. They don't even throw the ball a lot. Zach Wilson's the worst quarterback in the NFL, so I would even take Davis Mills over him, honestly. All right, so do you feel that Derrick Henry can explode again? The Packers, I have him in fantasy. By the way, who do you think wins tomorrow night's game? I think the Packers have good momentum. I think the Packers can win that game. Listen, the Titans are always they're very well coached. They make the most of their talent. I think Derrick Henry can have a good game. Packers defensive line is pretty good, although it's been giving up a lot of runs, rushing yardage lately. So I'm interested to see how Derrick Henry finishes the season at his age, 28. All the mileage on him. Does he fade? It's entirely possible. So I'm curious to see tomorrow. Weird kid. By the way, guys, should I stream during the first half of the game tomorrow? Let me know. I know we did that last week. I'm thinking of doing it again. It's certainly a more competitive game, and with the Christian Watson story, I think it would be cool to stream during the first half of that game. But again, if you don't want me to talk about the game while you're watching it because you don't want things spoiled, if I'm a little bit ahead, I totally get it. If you're not down with that. Any kicker suggestions? Daniel Carson, but the Raiders stink. Mike, both leagues I play in, we do not use kickers, and I suggest whatever league you're in, don't have kickers going forward. It's just a useless, pointless part. I can't even give you, honestly, a kicker suggestion. I mean, Graham Gano for the Giants is incredibly accurate, and the Giants tend to bog down. So if he's available, maybe you could look to him. Tristan Avenue's the backup to Monty. Is he good? He's got decent speed. He's raw. I don't think there's any fantasy value there, though. All right. So, yeah, it looks like I'm going to stream tomorrow. And hopefully, like I said, I have the approval for the super chat as well. I know I missed a lot of questions today, guys. I apologize for that. Streaming during the game is waxing and chilly. You should do the stream tomorrow. Yeah, I'm gonna do it then, Blair. If everybody's down with that, I'm definitely gonna do that. Thanks. I thought about just dropping the kicker. Yeah, you know what? Like I said, kickers are pointless to me in fantasy. You could have Harrison Butker, like for example, right? And the Chiefs score touchdowns on such a high percentage of their drives that Butker doesn't really get enough opportunities. He's kicking a lot of extra points. Even though he's better than 99% of the kickers in the game, in fantasy, wow, I got the best kicker, but he's not giving you the points. Graham Gano on a bad Giants team is going to kick a lot of field goals because they don't score touchdowns. So that's why I think kickers are just pointless. Jason Myers, Seahawks says, yeah, Jason Myers, I remember him. He's good. I haven't played kickers in my leagues for a couple of years now, so I'm not as down on the kickers in terms of knowing who's, the best options. But yeah, I can see Jason Myers. He's probably pretty good as well. Foreman or Pacheco? Foreman. I still think he's going to get a lot of opportunities, whereas the Chiefs remain a pass-first team. Fields or Jackson? Son of a Jacob. That's the dilemma I have in both of my leagues. I think I'm going to split the baby. I'm going to go Fields in one league and Jackson in the other. So Keenan Allen limited today. Mike Williams limited today. They both were on the field. They got work in. Hallelujah. So it looks like they're both on their way back. Yeah, Gano's been good, Carlo. Yeah, I hate that this one league has kickers. Yeah, kickers I think it's obsolete. I don't think there's really a point in having kickers anymore in fantasy football for sure. Fields or Herbert? Fields. Fields against Atlanta, you got to go Fields. And, Justin Herbert, not a lot of attention has been devoted to how bad of a season he's having. Now, it's not all of his fault. Listen, he's lost his top two receivers to injury. Gerald Everett's banged up as well with the groin injury. He's day-to-day. He should play this week. But Justin Herbert has not come anywhere near the fantasy production that was expected. And he was drafted on average, I believe, as the third or fourth quarterback off the board. The problem with Herbert is when the passing game struggles, as it has the last few weeks without their top receivers, he can't overcome that because he's not a runner. He can move, he can rush for 200 something yards, but Jalen Hurts, look at Justin Fields. They don't have a great passing game, but he's running all over the place, and that can mitigate any passing game struggles. So when Herbert's receivers go out, he's doomed. When Fields receivers go out or Jalen Hurts receivers go out, he's not doomed because he can make offense through his legs. Fields or Burrow? I'm going Fields, man. I'm sorry. 40-plus points 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to ride this out and see how far I can take it. In my main league, I'm starting Fields for a heat check. Lamar's on the bench this week. Yeah, I currently have Fields in there in both of these leagues. Like I said, do I split the baby and put Lamar in one league and then Fields in the other? And then also if Fields gets hurt, then I'm screwed in both leagues. So I think I'm gonna flip them and just do 1 and 1. My main league, okay. Fields or Hurts rest of season. Oh, Hurts. I'm not gonna go crazy here yet with Fields. Hurts has got such better weapons, and he's just as fast as Fields. I would like to see those two guys though in a foot race, and Lamar Jackson. I think Fields beats both of them. I think if they both run a 40-yard dash, I think Fields beats both of them. Pollard, solid running back 1, Foreman 2. Son of Jacob, it's hard for Pollard to be a running back 1 with Ezekiel Elliott healthy, and that's the problem. And Pollard's gotten a lot. He got a lot of carries the last game. Physically, he proved that he could hold up. We just need, and at the end of the season, Ezekiel Elliott will get out of the way. They can cut him and not get destroyed cap wise, and I think that's what's going to happen. So Pollard will then get his opportunity to be the main force there. Lisa Lamar will get Andrews back. Yeah, I mean, getting Andrews back is definitely big for Lamar for sure. Flex, Tony, Christian Watson, or Peoples Jones. Tony. I think Tony, because Juju's not playing. Hardman's probably not going to play. Tony's going to get a lot of catches. And this has the potential to be a shootout. So if Keenan Allen, Mike Williams come back and, they enable Herbert to throw the ball heavily, Tony could get a lot of work in this game. Rachaad White, running back 1. No, I'm not going to say he's running back 1 because, again, Akil, Leonard Fournette's not going away. He's excellent pass protection. He's an excellent receiver. And I think that he can at least be a 40% snap share guy, maybe even a 50% snap share guy while Rachaad White starts the game. So I can't see White having enough workload to be a running back 1. And remember, before Fournette went out last week with injury, he had, I believe, 14 touches to White's 10. So read into that what you want. Watson or Slayton and flex. I'm going to go Watson. And like I said, Dan Graziano report today that, and he's pretty well connected around the league, that the Packers are going to continue to feature Watson. Need to drop 1. J-Rob, Taysom Hill. Oh, you got to drop Taysom Hill. It's over with Aladdin. I mean, we had fun with Taysom Hill, but that's over. Okay, so we just start Pacheco over Pollard. No, I wouldn't do that. I would definitely not. I would definitely start Pollard over Pacheco. No, Pacheco's not catching the ball. Pollard is. That's what separates the two guys. Mark Andrews didn't practice today. No, he did, LDOT. He did practice today. He got limited work today. Just read it before. He definitely practiced. He got in a limited work today. So I think Andrews is going to be fine. They could be a little bit careful with the guy, but he should return, and that's really going to help Lamar Jackson. I'm curious to see Jackson if he can get his season back on track statistically, because it's been ugly for the last month now. Andrews did, he did practice. Yeah, Auntie. Heading out for errands. Appreciate the live. Keep going. Yeah, Mike, thank you. I'm going to be closing up shop soon. I appreciate that. He did practice. Yahoo doesn't know what he definitely practiced, Carlo. And certainly a relief, Aldot, for sure. All right, guys, my voice is starting to get a little hoarse. I'm going to end it today. Good 1 hour stream. I appreciate all the support. I will stream tomorrow during the game. We'll go live at 8, so make sure you tune in for that. JJ, let me answer these last few questions. JJ Debo or JJ Higgins? JJ Higgins, 100%. Gus Edwards, J-Rob. I'm still going to go J-Rob. You're welcome, guys. I appreciate all the support as always. And if you're new, hit that subscribe. Hit that notification button, and again, make sure you join me tomorrow. And Higgins and Williams for CD is too much, George. Yes. So have a good night, guys, and I will see you all tomorrow for the live stream.